Alright, ladies and gentlemen, and today I'm releasing a new video on WrestleMania. Yes, as I mentioned before on my Monday Night Raw review from this past Monday, we will definitely have WrestleMania reviews based off of the past leading up to WrestleMania 31. And today's review, yesterday we did WrestleMania 29. Today we are doing WrestleMania 19. This pay-per-view, I would have to say, was a classic. It had non-stop good action and very enjoyable and entertaining stuff. It felt like a real professional sport, and it was very, very good. The main event was spectacular, and there was nothing more you could say about this pay-per-view. Few things I didn't like about it, but overall, very good pay-per-view for WrestleMania during 2003 for WrestleMania 19. Now, starting off, the first match that we start off with is Matt Hardy versus Rey Mysterio for the Cruiserweight Championship. This match was a very decent Cruiserweight title match. Matt Hardy was decent in this match. This was not a bad match. Rey Mysterio kind of picked up the slack a little bit. But Matt Hardy held his own sort of in this match. And he won the match by cheating, holding onto the ropes, and getting the 1, 2, 3. Good entertaining stuff. I'd give it a 3. If Matt Hardy would have picked up his own a bit better than he normally does, I would have said it was a 4 or 4.5. But it wasn't a bad match whatsoever. By the least, it was not bad at all. So, after that match, we go into another good match. An Undertaker match, which was very surprising that they'd actually have the Undertaker as the second match to the show. But we at least had a very entertaining entrance by Limp Bizkit to introduce the Undertaker into the arena, or actually not the arena, Safeco Fieldhouse in Seattle. It was a freaking baseball stadium. So, this was really good. Good music. Excellent. Really, where is WWE the last time they actually had a good band come on board and, give us a live, concert kind of thing? Like, why doesn't WWE do like what the Super Bowl does? Have like a 15 to 20 minute, halftime kind of thing with the, with a good band or something like that, or a good musician. This year they got an LL Cool J. Who really cares? He's outdated. Nobody even cares about this dude. He hasn't made a record in God knows how fucking long. So, really, if you think about it, who really gives a shit? So, this match was a little bit disappointing, though. I do have to say that. Undertaker being by himself outside of having Nathan Jones with him, who was his so-called student that he was mentoring, against Big Show and A-Train, which Prince Albert, or Tenzai, as you guys may know him now. This match was a little disappointing. It wasn't all that great. I wouldn't say it was fantastic to watch. It was kind of slow, a little bit dull, but the ending it picked up at the end, but it wasn't The Undertaker. It wasn't an Undertaker type of match. This is by far probably the worst Undertaker match at WrestleMania I have seen in my entire life. His match with fucking Diesel was better than this. So yeah, this match wasn't that great. I give it a 2.5 out of 5 stars. The Undertaker does fortunately win, of course. If you guys don't know this, there's something wrong with you. Where the fuck have you been? Yeah, this match was it wasn't that great, but it wasn't horrible, but it was slow, and it was kind of dull, really, is where the problem lies. most of Undertaker's matches have never been exactly dull and boring. This one was, and I mean, look what the people he was fighting up against. He's fighting fucking Big Show and A-Train, and those two guys aren't exactly the most exciting wrestlers in WWE history, so I can understand where the problem really lied. It wasn't really the Undertaker, was his opponents. Nathan Jones really didn't do a whole lot. He was knocked out of the picture until the end, and that's where the action started to pick up. So it wasn't that big of a deal. Again, as I said, it's a 2.5 out of 5. We got Victoria, Trish Stratus, and Jazz. From what I remember, this is for the women's title match. It's a triple threat match. From what I remember, I do believe Jazz wins this match and becomes the champion. Wasn't a bad match. Say it was like a 3. Wasn't too shabby, actually, for a Divas match. Most of the Divas matches today aren't exactly all that exciting. This one was pretty decent, and it wasn't too bad at all. So I'd give this match definitely a 3 out of 5 stars. Then the action really starts to pick up. I mean, the last 3 matches were kind of okay or below okay, but this one right here, this triple threat tag team match for the WWE Tag Team Championships that were on SmackDown at the time, the world's greatest tag team with Charlie Haas and Shelton Benjamin versus the Guerreros, Eddie Guerrero and Chavo Guerrero versus Chris Benoit and Rhino. Very good match. Very good stuff. High-flying action all around. Everyone did an excellent job in this match. Rhino hit a couple of spears. Chris Benoit was doing some things in this match that was entertaining. I mean, everybody in this match worked their tail off and produced a very good triple threat tag team match for the WWE Tag Team titles. At the end of the day, Charlie Haas and Shelton Benjamin retained those championships, but later on, a couple of months later, they would lose those titles to Eddie Guerrero and to Jerry, if you guys weren't familiar with that. But yes, this match was definitely a good match. I give it a 3.5, maybe even a 4 out of 5 stars. Very high octane stuff. Definitely a lot of entertaining stuff that you can definitely enjoy throughout the entire duration of the match. The next match was Shawn Michaels versus Chris Jericho. And if you don't know anything about Shawn Michaels and Chris Jericho's match from WrestleMania 19, you are fucked up. Unless you have not been watching wrestling for a long time, or you didn't watch it at least during 2003, there's something wrong with you. You must have amnesia of the brain or something like that. This match was probably by far the match of the night at WrestleMania 19. It stole the fucking show. That's why they don't call Shawn Michaels Mr. WrestleMania for nothing. He stole the show at Chris Jericho. Chris Jericho was outstanding in this match. It was artistic. It was very good stuff. I mean, these guys knew what they were doing. They displayed like they knew each other's moves. It looked like they actually practiced out the entire match with each other before they had this match at WrestleMania. I mean, this was very good, well structured, and it just flowed completely from beginning to end. Both of these men did a great job. The ending was a little crappy, but I mean, it was Chris Jericho playing his heel role, and he did it fabulously. So I can't complain about the ending after the match was over, but at least it was after the match was over, not during the match, because then they would add a DQ the whole entire thing, and that would have sucked. But at the end of the day, Shawn Michaels did walk away with this win with a roll-up pin. Actually, it wasn't a roll-up. He flipped and had his legs up in the Chris Jericho's legs up in the air. Chris Jericho's back was down on the mat. If you see it yourself, you'll understand what I'm saying. I don't know what kind of pin hold that was or whatnot. But I'm not going to go into a long description of what it looks like. It kind of was a little bit there, but hey, you watch the match, you'll see what I mean. But yeah, it was definitely a lot of good stuff involved in this match. And bottom line, this match was definitely a 4 out of 5 star, maybe even 4.5 out of 5. So very good match right there. So bottom line, this is definitely a must-see match. If you've never seen it before, I would highly recommend it. And if you have seen it before and you're definitely interested in seeing it again, I definitely would watch it if I was you. Then the next match. This was a disappointing match, but still it was very fun to watch. Definitely it was like an underdog story. You was hoping for the guy to win, but he didn't. And that was Triple H versus Booker T for the World Heavyweight Championship. Triple H was going in as World Heavyweight Champion. You kept having Ric Flair on the outside interfering in this match consistently. Interfering, and I have to say one thing. Jerry Lawler and Jim Ross's commentary was downright funny as hell, especially with Jerry Lawler making comments about Booker T's past with the law and everything else. With him talking about going buying a pack of cigarettes, he stole them, and they were at the mall, and how he was born. It was very controversial comments that they were having Jerry Lawler say, but it was just so sick and demented. It made the match just as entertaining as the stuff you were watching in the ring. So, I mean, bottom line, the commentary alone was fucking funny as hell. And then the match itself was good. But the end result, really, I didn't believe that they should have went with Triple H. Honestly, the matches leading up to this, Booker T was kicking Triple H's ass. It was very much believable that, Booker T had his number. I mean, yeah, granted, he did cheat to win, so that made it a little bit believable, but what would have made it even better is no matter how much Triple H tried to cheat, he was still going to lose, and at that time, I believe it was Booker T's time to become World Heavyweight Champion. I think that was a horrible thing they did to Booker T, put on a fabulous freaking match. He did a high-flying backflip and landing a leg drop onto Triple H's head. Jerry Lawler, from what I remember from the commentary, because I've seen this pay-per-view so many times in the last 12 years, because it was just such an entertaining pay-per-view. Jerry Lawler going, "Oh my God!" He's like, Jim Ross is like, I really hope, Booker T's leg is okay. And he's like, Jerry Lawler's like, "What do you mean his leg? What about Triple H's head?" I mean, that was very entertaining. Again, like I said, the commentary between Jerry Lawler and Jim Ross was classic. I mean, it was funny as hell, and they just had so much comedic stuff to say while the action was going on. The action was as good as the commentary and vice versa. It was such a great match, but again, it went to the wrong guy. Even though, yes, it was a believable ending, still, really, Triple H, I mean, he was getting his ass kicked, and this whole thing that they were doing was just build up throughout the months from September on through till WrestleMania 19, that Triple H and WWE was better than WCW. That's really what all this was, basically, when you get down to it. So it was a little disappointing, but hey, I'm sorry I'm going on a long rant about this one, but I'm sorry, this was probably the most disappointing match because of the ending, not the actual match itself and all the other things involved in this. But the end result was disappointing, I have to say that. But overall, match itself, I give it a 4 out of 5. I mean, it was fun, entertaining, and very funny. I mean, funny as can be. Honestly, the only way this really got the kind of recognition from me was the commentary from JR and Jerry Lawler. It was downright funny, and if you're not entertained by the match, at least you got some funny commentary to listen to. That's very controversial, but yet it'll make you crack up laughing all at the same time. But moving on, the next match that we got was Hulk Hogan versus Vince McMahon. Now, granted, I'll have to say this. Vince McMahon is a horrible wrestler. He was never good at all in the ring. He should have never wrestled, but he did it for the fans to see him get his ass kicked, because he knew the fans didn't like him. And I can respect that. I mean, I don't respect him now. I have no respect for him now. I think he's completely taking his product and flushing it down the toilet. But during this time, I had a lot of respect for him to get in that ring and get his ass kicked to entertain an audience. And Hulk Hogan, he wasn't doing too bad in this match either, despite the fact of his limited wrestling ability and his moveset. He was very entertaining in this match. It was very, controversial type of storyline that they were doing. They were talking about their past, what led them to breaking up as a business partners in WWE, and how, Hogan betrayed Vince McMahon, and that he turned on Vince McMahon during the time when Vince McMahon was being tried for steroid use within his company. So that was pretty good build-up, I have to say the least. Despite the fact the limited wrestling ability by both of these guys, it was still pretty entertaining, but they made the right choice in making this a street fight so they could beat the holy hell out of each other. There was blood all over the place. Not stuff that you would see in WWE anymore. I mean, granted, yeah, I'm kind of glad they cut down a lot. They don't have the blood anymore, but every once in a blue moon, like something like this, you should definitely put something like that in the match. I mean, it makes it believable. You get hit in the head with a lead pipe or something like that. You're probably gonna start bleeding, or at least with with an object. I think that it would have been believable. Make the match a little bit more dramatic, whatnot. But you don't have to do it every single match. I mean, that's what they used to do back in WWE's days in 2003 and on down and so forth. But granted, this match was very good. They had the one of the Law Resistance characters as a referee, which was starting out before the Law Resistance actually existed. The SmackDown referee from Montreal, where The Rock got screwed from Rock and Hulk Hogan 2 match. He gets involved. They throw him out of the ring, and Vince McMahon gets the big boot to the face, and 3 leg drops to end the match and get the 1, 2, 3. Decent match. I have to say it was a 3.5 out of 5, maybe even a 4. I probably lean towards more of a 4 because of how entertained the audience was and how invested the audience was in this match. So definitely it was a good match, to say the least. Excuse me. The next match, number 3, baby, Stone Cold versus The Rock. There's nothing to be said here. Stone Cold versus The Rock, there ain't nothing to be said. This was the second best match. WrestleMania 17 was their best one. It was a heated rivalry between those two, but this one really stood out just as much as WrestleMania 17. It was a clean match, no interferences, no nothing. It was a straight to the point victory by The Rock. And The Rock did a great job in this match. He had 3 rock bottoms, a people's elbow, a Stone Cold stunner. Stone Cold hit, I think, about 2 Stone Cold stunners on The Rock, plus a rock bottom. These guys went back and forth. You really didn't know who was going to win, but you pretty much sure that The Rock was going to win this one to at least get 1 victory under his belt out of their rivalry, since he lost twice to Stone Cold Steve Austin, one being a complete screw job, which I was highly disappointed in at WrestleMania 17, but not getting on that because this is 19. This match was very good. Where it was placed at, maybe people would say, oh, that should have been the main event, possibly, I'm not sure. But if anyone actually has the opinion to think that this should have been the main event, I totally disagree. But before I get to that main event match with the WWE title, This match was definitely a 4 out of 5, guaranteed. Hands down, this was an excellent match, no doubt about it. Now, the main event, Kurt Angle versus Brock Lesnar for the WWE Championship. This match, my friends, was fucking picture perfect. There was nothing in this match you could say that was bad. I'm giving this a 5. 5 out of 5. It was picture perfect. There was nothing in this match that was bad. There was a lot of technical wrestling. It was a real life sport type of match. This match was not gimmicky. It didn't feel scripted. It felt natural. It felt like a real live match, even though it was scripted. And Kurt Angle, during his title reign from 2002 of December all the way up to WrestleMania 19, had some fantastic matches leading into this WrestleMania 19, especially the one with Chris Benoit. Yes, I do understand, folks. Yes, Chris Benoit did a really horrible thing at the end of his life, which tainted his career. But hands down, folks, if you haven't seen the Royal Rumble of 2003 between him and Kurt Angle, you're missing a freaking 5-star match again. That was another 5-star match for his WWE Championship, and it was a great match. And this one was no different. It was hands down one of the best physical matches I have ever seen at a WrestleMania event. I mean, there's a couple of other ones that are just as, physical at WrestleMania as this one, but this one, on this whole pay-per-view, this was hands down the best. 5 out of 5 stars. Brock Lesnar wins the WWE Championship from Kurt Angle. And folks, I mean, that's really a WrestleMania. You want WrestleMania, this is it right here. WrestleMania 19. This year's WrestleMania, again, as I've mentioned a billion times, has no heavy-duty build-up. That's where the problem lies for this WrestleMania pay-per-view. There is no heavy-duty build-up. It feels like a regular, ordinary pay-per-view. This WrestleMania right here that I've just talked about with you guys is a real feeling of WrestleMania. This is what WrestleMania should be like. And there's many others like this one that feel like WrestleMania, but this year's doesn't. Last year didn't really feel like a WrestleMania type feeling outside of Daniel Bryan becoming champion. And, maybe John Cena and Bray Wyatt and Brock and Undertaker had some decent build-ups going into WrestleMania. But, like I said in my last video, WrestleMania 29 all the way up to now is where it's all started. Why WrestleMania sucks. And this one heavily does not suck. This is WrestleMania at its finest. This is a classic. If you haven't seen it, fucking watch it. You're missing a good one. Anyway, hit that subscribe button. Thank you very much for catching this video. And there will be some more coming in the upcoming days leading up to WrestleMania 31. Thank you for watching and have a great night, guys. Bye.